The summer before my freshman year of high school, my parents took me on a trip to swim with the dolphins. This wasn't just any ordinary trip, it was my lifelong dream. From the time I could talk, I wanted to be a dolphin trainer. Dolphins have always interested me because they are extremely smart and incredibly fast learners. They are also very beautiful and graceful creatures. When I found out I was going to do the Trainer for a Day program, I was ecstatic. This meant that in addition to 2 sessions of swimming with the dolphins, I was going to get a tour of the entire park and a behind-the-scenes look at a typical day for a dolphin trainer. I immediately began counting down the days until I left on my adventure. When the day finally arrived, I was extremely anxious. My dad, mom, and I drove to Orlando the night before to ensure I would have plenty of rest for the big day. The car ride seemed to take an eternity, and my anticipation was building. The moment I arrived, someone greeted me and helped me find my escort for the day and the other 3 members of my group. We immediately went over the rules and headed straight for the Dolphin Cove. Our leader said the water was about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, but I barely noticed because I was too worried about getting my turn. The trainer signaled to the dolphin named Diego to swim over to our group. We began to pet the dolphin, and his skin was slick as if it was coated in oil. The dolphin was responding and interacting with us as if we were dolphins too. It was really fascinating to see all of this up close. After we were through petting him, we took turns being pulled by him through the water. It's amazing how fast they can swim while they are pulling you. It felt like I was being pulled by a boat, surprisingly fast considering he was pulling my extra body weight. When everyone had a chance to ride the dolphin, it was time to go. It was hard to believe that half an hour had gone by so quickly, but we had to move on to the next adventure. We headed to the other side of the resort to visit the shark exhibit. The pool we went to had nurse sharks and 2 types of reef sharks. All the sharks in the tank were fairly docile, but we still had to feed them with poles. They ate all types of fish and large pieces of raw meat. It smelled rotten, but the sharks loved it. When they took the food from the pole, it felt like they were going to take the actual pole along with them because they took the food with such force. It was really neat to see the way they ate and how they all looked up close. Next, we were off to swim with the stingrays. None of the stingrays we encountered had stingers, so we were allowed to feel all over them. The tops of the stingrays are very soft and feel like velvet, but their tails are hard and bony. We were given a bucket of halved fish and were given specific instructions on how to feed the rays. I had to hold the fish in the water and wait for the stingrays to swim by and suck them out of my hand. It was overwhelming how many stingrays surrounded me after the feeding began. The rays were so hungry they began to suck our skin. When I was through feeding them, I had marks all over my legs. Although we had already done so many activities, I was excited that there was still more to come. Our next stop was the aviary, and it was much larger than I expected. They had a multitude of birds that were all shapes and sizes. All the birds I encountered were very interesting and surprisingly friendly. We were given a large cup of birdseed, and the trainer told us to protect it. Immediately, birds were surrounding me trying to get the food. I had birds on my arms, shoulders, and one even landed on my head. I really enjoyed getting to interact with and see so many different birds. After exploring all the different areas and learning about the many species, we had to make our way to the training session. At this session, we watched as the trainers worked with several dolphins, teaching them new behaviors and rewarding them accordingly. The trainers refer to the new tricks and what they teach the dolphins as behaviors. The dolphins seemed to enjoy learning the new behaviors. The trainers explained that dolphins are really smart and love to be challenged with learning new things. It was interesting to get a behind-the-scenes glance of how they were taught. The trainers gave us our own whistle and let us have a chance to instruct the dolphins and reward them. I loved spending time with the trainers, and I was sad that it was time to move on. We said goodbye to the trainers and made our way once again to the Dolphin Cove. This time I knew what to expect. The session wasn't as structured as the first one. We were just able to play around and swim with the dolphins. The trainer gave us balls and other toys the dolphins enjoyed. I even got to meet a dolphin named Natalie. Being in the water with the dolphins was relaxing, and I thought it was an excellent way to end the day. After we finished swimming with the dolphins, it was time to say goodbye. Sadly, the day had come to an end, and I had to go home. Even though I hated to leave, I had to admit that I was utterly exhausted. This trip was by far one of the most exciting things I have done. I really enjoyed myself, and I would absolutely do it again. It was so much fun, and I have memories that will be with me forever.